My video is not working, I think. It was working, na, earlier?
No
Hello?
issues, Ashish. You can go ahead. No issues.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Digital HR, part of InnoServe group of company, I, Ashish Maglu, leading the digital HR community, welcome you all in the session that we are conducting today, which is changing the role of talent analytics, which is hosted by Mr. Yogesh Sharma, who is author, speaker, and perfect talent coach. We are really very delighted to have you all on board with us. And thank you so much for sharing your precious time and joining this beautiful session. So I would like to introduce about our digital HR, an emerging leader in HR community, which intends to emerge as the ultimate platform for HR professional to learn how to leverage the power of digital for transforming the HR practices. This is the community which arounds digital transformation of HR services and process brought by InnoServe Group. Though this, we help the HR professional learn, understand, and use digital technology to drive business objective in HR among its many applications. And one of the most focused application that we have identified as a digital employer branding, as it has a tremendous impact on the entire value chain. So this is the basic that digital HR community having the said in HR fraternity. So let me take the honor to introduce Mr. Yogesh Sharma, who is well-known author and talent coach, and he is a globally renowned talent acquisition coach with over 17 years of work experience in this field. He has so far conducted more than 200 sessions to shape the career of HR professional. He's ex-global head of talent acquisition at Thomas Group of Companies, Palladium Global, and Sekel Media Group as well. So I would like to request Mr. Yogesh Sharma to share his view and facilitate the today's session, which is hosted by himself, and share his view about this conducting that how we will get benefited about the changing the role of talent analytics. So I'm welcoming each and every person. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Ashish. Thank you for introducing me. And I really, it's an honor to be here. At Digital HR platform. I think it's a great community, and I'm really happy to be associated with the entire team, Rahul, Ritesh, you, Chandan, and everyone. So thank you, Ashish. Thanks a lot for having me here.
Thank you.
Right. Hey all, how are you? Hey guys, so this is a workshop. So I good that we are on Teams today. It's not in a webinar mode. So I'm sure all of you are here and have just not joined as a like formality or maybe just digital HR or some people. I'm sure we are here for a reason, right? Right? Can I see some responses here? Maybe on a chat or maybe you can just unmute yourself and speak up. So I see Veena, Prajakta, I see Pareshwar, Komal, Dhruv, Pavan. Hello, hi Veena. Hello, Pavan. Hi, Stephen. How are you? Okay, how about other? So a lot of name. Those looks very, very familiar to me as well. I guess. Thank you. Thanks, Veena. Hello. So guys, today we are here for the talent analytics session. It looks like a very heavy word. And just let me share my screen and we'll start. Okay, so guys, since we all are working from home and we have our share of complications in terms of internet, everything. So here I have shared my screen with you. Let me know if you are able to view it clearly. Can you see the presentation? I have it on my window.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so guys, we are here today, and Ashish has already introduced me like what I have done before. Certainly, I have a formal introduction, but I want to tell you, friends, like I've been into talent acquisition from last 15 years, but it has not been a very linear journey. Like I was a computer engineer and moved into talent acquisition by choice, where I was working with IBM as a software engineer, and there were a few things that made me, that actually attracted me towards, talent acquisition. Please don't ask me what attracted me. I have a different view today, what I had before. But here I am today, 15 year of talent acquisition experience, and from last one and a half year, I'm completely like almost giving 40 to 50% of my time on such workshops, where I've been taking sessions, corporate sessions in few of the best institution across the globe, and to various forums globally, and talking about few of the focus areas where I am currently focusing on rest of my career. Which is typically based on employer branding and talent acquisition and digital transformation of human resource, and specifically TA practices. So guys, here I am today with you, and we will be talking about talent analytics and how I have been using it, and how we're going to do it. Certainly I'll be telling you more what we will not do it than what we're going to do it, and that's more important, right? So just to get more focused, on what is required and what is needed. So going to that, guys, I really enjoy my life. I'm based out in Pune. I have a lot of friends in HR. My wife is also into talent acquisition. I have a daughter. She is also very, very keen on what we do. She loves sourcing. when we sit together, and she keeps listening to our calls, and she love it. Then I have friends within the fraternity, and they're the family, and they are really the family. So I'm there with them all the time, and this is what I love about my life. So friends, I am there everywhere doing a lot of workshop. I already told you. So now coming to the talent analytics, the session today, we're going to spend some time, like almost 1 hour. Next 1 hour, we're going to be doing a couple of stuff. My idea is to enable you to understand what would be your action point next. Okay, so this is not a theoretical workshop. I'm not here to teach you some concepts. Even I don't understand those concepts, right? So I don't understand theory. I'm a very practical person, have been doing all practical work. So I will be taking you to my journey of on how I have done it. So I'll be asking you a few questions. Are you all ready? Can I see if you, yes, no, hello? Just unmute yourself and speak out. I think that's the best way to do that. Yeah? Yeah, hi. Thank you. Thanks. So let's quickly look at, let me ask you a few questions, So this is the first question that I want to ask you. Just answer me. Don't put it on a chat. Unmute yourself and speak to me. So if you're hiring a full stack engineers in Pune, I'm sure most of you must be doing it, right? And if you have been asked to organize an interview drive, what do you think? Which one is the best day? Is it Monday? Is it Tuesday? It's Friday? It's Saturday?
Fine.
Midweek.
Midweek. Okay.
Saturday.
Yeah. Somebody saying midweek, right? And what about Saturday?
Correct.
Yeah, Saturday.
Best day. Yeah.
Okay. How about Monday? No. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Monday is no. How many of you say Saturday? Can if you see a few voices who say Saturday? Yep. Anyone for Saturday? Yes.
Yes, sir, Saturday.
Perfect. So Saturday, yes. Okay. How many of you are there for Wednesday as a day to organize a drive?
Wednesday, yes, that will be better.
Yes, sir. Wednesday.
Wednesday flights are cheapest on that day, right? Okay. Please forgive me if I'm just talking some rubbish, but flights are cheapest on Wednesday. Anyone knows? Anyone know about that fact?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Right. Hotels are cheapest, right?
Yes.
On Wednesday, especially on like tourist destinations. Let me ask you another question. Okay. What do you think about this? What do you think would be the best day for this? So let's say you are working for a bank, hardcore Indian bank, those who hire sales guys, right? Those who sell mortgage or some, products to you. And if they're hiring a sales manager, what do you think is the best day to do such drive?
Sunday.
Sunday. Right. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That's really
Any
interesting.
working day will be fine, sir.
Any day is fine because for them, once they're out of office, they can come, right?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Okay. 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 Let's move. Let me just see. How did you reach to this conclusion? How many of you say gut feeling? You think that you know by guts that this is the right day? Hello.
Reach to the conclusion.
Gut feeling is a great feeling. It gives you most of the time. It gives you right answers, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I know a lot of my seniors who have been telling me like if I just go to the floor, I can tell you who will gonna leave the company. Pure gut feeling. Yeah. All right. Have you
Yes,
have
sir.
you heard this from some veterans or old folks in the company?
Yes, yes.
Right. So what is it? What is? How did you reach to this conclusion? Is it gut feeling, or do you think you have enough experience of doing such interview? Based on that, you can say, yeah, experience.
Experience,
Best
sir.
experience, sir.
Experience, or you say this is how it works. People only come on Saturday. They don't come on other day. Or is it something like that?
It's normally based on experience.
It's based
Based
on
on it.
experience.
Okay. Do you have
Yeah,
any other
this
answer?
is on experience.
Do you have any other answer? Like, is there any other way you can find out and reach to this conclusion?
The position that we're looking for, whether it's
Yeah.
for experienced candidate or or a mid level, so we can get to the conclusion on that basis. Like when when might be available during weekday or on Saturday particularly, because many of the times the experienced candidate are mostly available on either Saturday or either in afternoon on Friday. So
Mhm.
it comes from the
Okay, so fine, I got it. So this is your experience, or sometime you know that this is how it works. But can you tell me, like, is there any other time, like maybe you have used some other approach to reach to this decision that we should do the drives? Like, I'll give you an example. In one of my last company, when I reached there, I saw that every Saturday we had a drive. They have drive plan for all the Saturdays for the next 3 years. We had a calendar and there were drives planned for that, and we all knew that we have to come and work on Saturday. And I think I did some work. I have pulled out some data. I figured I did my own homework in terms of how people are moving, what other companies are doing, and I figured out that every Saturday is not required. And you won't believe that I was based in Pune, working in Bombay, and I have not worked on any Saturday in the next 2 years after we went through that data. So, so this is my story. So, what do you think? What would I have done? What I would have done to reach to that conclusion that made my life so good.
You would have consulted other experts in the industry, the other HR people, generally exchange the thoughts on this, and have discussion on this, and then understand the trend that's going on. Generally, when we take a skill set, like I'll give you an instance. In my own company, we hire a lot of data science people in Bangalore. So we also study the geographical area. So the area where this is my experience, and the area where our company is located is Central Bangalore, MG Road. So there are about 8 different companies working in data science, and all of them were doing the drive on Saturday. That's when we felt that if we are also doing the drive on the same day, we will not have a good turnout. That's when we decided to change the day to a midweek, like Wednesday or a Thursday. Because
Okay.
Monday and Tuesday are meeting days, and Friday is also the day when people leave early or they have some scrum calls and other meetings.
I
So
get
we
a
chose.
point. I get a
Yeah.
point. So that's a good thing, to do some homework and understand, what is
Yeah.
happening around.
Yeah.
And so idea is that we can clearly see that there are too many parameters around. So
Correct.
there are parameters like competition, those who are doing drives. So when we know that there are other employers who are already doing the drive, then certainly the target resource will get divided. Maybe, and if you look at some internal data also, you can easily figure out by looking at some 20, 30, 40 drives, previous drives, and you can look at the how look at the walk-in data and the kind of people who came in, and you can easily figure out that there are certain kind of people who typically come on Saturday, but there are certain kind of people who never come on Saturday. They will say yes on Saturday, but they will never gonna appear. You will see a lot of dropouts in when the final turnout happens. So idea is that there's a lot of data around it. So one is the internal data of your own walk-in drives. One, there is an external data, like how the external factors are affecting the interview drives. And then you can see based on your experience, as you said, like you might have experience elsewhere where you had that access to that data and you have learned that this is how it works. Okay, like I came from an experience where I realized that this kind of resource can also come on other weekdays, like what we just saw when we look at the sales manager banks. We don't have to keep the Saturday drives for them, right? Because they're available. Similarly, if you are targeting a very niche hiring and people who come from best of the companies, certainly again Saturday doesn't work, always, because these people work in a flexible mode within their own company, and if they really see the value proposition in your job, they can come. But idea is that do you have enough data to support this decision? Are you generating this data? Are you collecting this data? Do you have an access to this data? And once you have an access to this kind of data, what are you doing about it? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see how people are, because whenever we are talking about talent analytics, guys, I don't think that this is such a big deal, because we are dealing with these analytics, these numbers every day. Even when you are going there and buying something, you, like some of you said, that you will go and ask somebody who's more senior, okay, or somebody who has gone through with it. Even in my life today, if I'm going there and buying a car, maybe I'll go and ask my brother, who is more enthusiastic about cars, because he has access to the data or he has experienced the data, so that I may not have access to, and he will give me that information, that which car should I buy, and he will give me some data points. So for everything I do, whether I buy a car or I do anything, I always get access to some data, some information, and based on that I take my decision. And this is how it typically works here, right? So this is not a rocket science. We are not here to become a data scientist. Okay, we are HR guys, we are into talent acquisition, and we are here to do something very, very simple, to understand what we can do, what are our action points, so that we can take the right decision. Okay, so let's quickly go ahead and let's see. So so Ritesh, have you like, I think, guys, I was facing some issues with MS Teams in accessing one video, which I have it in my PPT. So there were some audio issues. Fortunately, Ritesh, who's from Digital HR, has given me the audio of that video. So I will just run a quick video. Hi.
Yes,
Ritesh?
yes, Yogesh ji. So I can run the video right now. I'm just running it. Can I click on?
Oh yeah, sure. Maybe I'll just start and you can run the sound, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So guys, please just go through with this video. There are a few case studies here, and then we'll quickly go ahead, right? So I'm here, and
yeah.
Just a minute. So
on-demand internet streaming media.
Just a minute. So
Sure.
maybe I'm yet to start my.
No issues.
Sorry, I'm facing. So yeah. Start. Please.
An American provider of on-demand internet streaming media. Once you log in and pay your monthly fee, movies you can select can be watched instantly through your computer or gaming system. Netflix recently revolutionized the way television content is created for audiences, and they did that using analytics. They first started by collecting data, lots of it, lots and lots of it. Since they had access to the viewing preferences of all their members, this put Netflix in a great position to predict what kind of people want to watch what in which genre. Netflix's vast analysis led them to the conclusion that David Fincher, the director of The Social Network, was very popular. The British version of House of Cards, a political television drama from the 90s, had been well received by the existing viewers, and that the viewers of both David Fincher and the British House of Cards also watched films starring Kevin Spacey. Each of these very individual factors had to contain a certain volume of users. Netflix had a lot of users in each category. This weighed in heavily when Netflix ultimately then made the decision to buy the rights to the show and create an American version of House of Cards. But that's not where the analytics ended. Netflix further customized the experience by having different advertisements and promotions for the series tailored to different types of viewers. While Kevin Spacey's fans saw a lot of Kevin Spacey in the promotions, fans of the director were reminded of his critically acclaimed films. So did all of this work? A resounding yes.
Political parties also rely on analytics to get their key messages across to their voters. When you visit any of their websites, it automatically embeds a little cookie into your system that tracks your browsing pattern. So, let's assume you visit a cricket website, followed by a careers portal. What the algorithm infers is that you are a young male who is possibly looking for a job. So, when you run your next search, it will show you a contextual ad for the political party saying something like, unemployment at an all-time high, make a change, vote for party XYZ. Many dating websites today believe that it has less to do with an emotional connection and possibly more with crunching the data when it comes to finding one's soulmate online. Popular dating website OkCupid was founded by 4 mathematicians who definitely thought so. We think that dating is a problem to be solved using data and analytics, said Sam Yegan, the CEO. That may not sound too romantic, but it was the first time that someone was thinking out of the box when it came to dating. OkCupid essentially works on 2 levels. 1, by asking for user preferences and answers to predefined questions. And 2, it also makes the users decide the relevance of the question itself, thus creating data sets on the basis of which people are matched up. So it measures whether the question was important to both people as well as how they answer it. OkCupid also used the data collected to arrive at small but insightful findings, like when gas prices rose, users decreased their search radius for matches. Or that if your profile picture was taken using a camera with a flash, users often estimated you as being almost 7 years older than you actually were. You can read up on a lot more interesting trends discovered by OkCupid using analytics on their blog, blog.okcupid.com.
Okay, guys. So let me. I hope the voice was audible and you have been able to understand what they were trying to say, right?
Yes, sir.
It was audible. Perfect. Perfect. So let me just go to my next question before I come to these case studies. Let's look at this. What is that? These are Bluetooth headphone. Okay. So all of us buy it, once in a quarter, right? Right? Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whenever you go and buy a Bluetooth, whenever you want to buy a Bluetooth headphone, maybe every quarter or every 6 months, what is the first thing that you do? Can anyone tell me or guide me? What is the first thing that you are gonna do when you want to buy a headphone?
We look for offers.
Right. So you look for offers or you look for products. So what you will go to Google?
Product. We Google the products, the best, and then we look for offers.
Perfect. Perfect. So what happens when you will write a Bluetooth headphone on Google? What is the next thing that will gonna happen with you?
All products, latest products will appear.
Right, right. So what happened? All related products, similar product, including it's not just on that particular website, but in your mobile, in your TV, in your Google, or in anything, everywhere you will keep looking at, everywhere you will find Bluetooth headphone, right?
Yes,
Isn't
sir.
it? You will see, you don't have to go and find offers. You will start receiving offers on your own, on your email, isn't
Yes.
it? Exactly. This is what happens with you when you just type Bluetooth headphone.
Yes.
Isn't that true? What if a candidate type a Java developer jobs? Does the same thing happens with the candidate also by your company? Do you throw him the similar offers, the kind of jobs that you have for that particular candidate? Do you have any mechanism where you can do that?
Naukri?
Look, so fine. Naukri is there. Naukri is doing it for their own product. But as an organization, are we really doing that? Are we really investing in enough
No,
talent analytics? Are we doing this?
no, sir.
Are the candidates getting benefit of getting few of the best offers coming from few of the best companies?
No.
And one of the most important thing as a recruiter or as a HR person, do I have enough skills to do this? Am I talking to the marketing agency to do it for me? And one of the reason is that we don't even know that there is a lot of data which is available across, which we can utilize, use, and it could be much more, it can give us, one edge to the competition. It can give us access to the database, which we never had access to. It can get us few of the best resource, and you won't believe that it'll actually gonna bring down your cost of hiring in external market by, you never know by anything, if it has to be calculated depending on the organization and the kind of campaign you want to run. But trust me, it'll gonna bring down your cost by more than 50% over a period of time. Have you ever thought about it on that line to do this? Anyone who has some experience of doing this within their organization? Okay, so don't worry if you have not done it. Let's look at who has done it, who is doing it. Okay, so I'm here and I'm just going to Google. Okay, let's Google it. Maybe somebody is doing it, you never know. So let's go to Google. I hope you all can see this. Can you all see my browser?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So let's go to Google and let's find out Java developer jobs. Can we see some ads? I'm sure there should be few ads coming in. Okay, I see some jobs here, but I can't see any sponsored advertisement from any of the organization across, right? In Java developers jobs. But whenever I'm writing careers, Java, let's see if I get some. I'm getting an ad from Persistent. I'm getting an ad from Deutsche Bank. Okay, nothing else. But I'm getting 2 ads. Can you see that? So this is interesting, right? There are people who are doing this. Hope, and let's look at some more. Let's say careers Python. Assume that I want to recruit such resource. When I write this, do I get any company who's doing this? No, I'm not getting any advertisement, any paid content. I'm just getting any content which is coming through the Google algorithms. Okay, and now it just depends on the skill of a candidate, whether he would be able to find your job or not. And that's one of the reasons why we receive application where most of the applications are not very, very relevant, isn't it?
Yes, true, sir.
Right? True. And if you look at these marketers, they're so smart. They reach out to the exact lead. If you are looking for a dishwasher, they will gonna find you by just what you are doing on social media or Google. But right now we are not doing that. Okay, so the point I want to make is we have to understand the kind of data which is available in the market. Guys, today I'm not here to tell you some metrics, some talent metrics like, offer to joining ratio and then selection ratio and everything. Certainly, this is something that we need to do it on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to explain you that as well. But today I want to tell you what all you can do. What could be your action point? What is all available to do in the market if you are looking at it from the talent acquisition perspective? Because we all talk about it that talent acquisition is more of a marketing and not really the hardcore transactional job. Okay, let's look at a few more stuff. Is that, like I just told you, how are we using analytics? Where are we? Where do we stand? So let me just ask you a very simple stuff that you do every day. Let's look at email. Okay, can you all tell me what all you do from email? So email, what all information that you can get from email as analytics, as a data, apart from some toxic mails that you get, almost 70-80% mails every day. Right? So what do you think? What kind of data that you can get in a structured format from emails?
Open rate and the bounce rate.
Yeah.
Engagement.
Okay. Sorry?
Engagement.
Engagement. Okay. Okay. And what form are you getting this data?
Through MailChimp or?
MailChimp. Okay, so you are using one platform to do that. Perfect. So, if you look at your email, I want to ask you another question. How many of you have your email directly connected to your applicant tracking system? It means any application that you receive on your email go directly to your ATS.
It's not connected to ATS.
No,
No,
Okay.
that's not done yet.
And you won't believe that majority of the ATS have that feature. It means if you define a rule, like I'm sure if you're using Outlook or email, you have so many rules which you can define to receive an email. If you define the right rule, your ATS can be connected. You can connect it through your email. It means all application received will go directly to your ATS with the right source. It means if you are receiving application from Naukri directly to your email, it'll go there. If you are receiving it from some candidate, it'll go there. If you are receiving it from a vendor, okay, it'll gonna go to your ATS as a vendor application. It means source will be defined. Okay, let me ask you another question. Can you can you find out some information like how our emails are flowing in your system? Like for example, how many emails typically a particular team is has the highest volume of emails in these particular hours. Are we getting such analytics from our IT team? They have these analytics with them. They know that between 6 to 8 p.m. you see the highest volume of emails in an organization in India. Have you heard about this? Has somebody spoken to you about email analytics?
No.
Okay. But don't you think this could be very, very useful to you as a HR when you know that this team is most active in these hours, and you see some of the emails going late in the night? That could be a kind of alarm to you if it is happening on a sustained basis in a particular team. Don't you think this could be a very, very relevant information for you?
Yes, it is.
Right. So, and this is very easy to find. This is already with you. You just have to go to the IT team, and you don't have to ask for the email content. It could be against the privacy issues and everything. But you can always ask the information about the flow of the email, volume of the email per hours. Okay. One more thing is that, are you using merge email? I'm sure you must be, but are you tracking details like if this email has been read, if it has already been opened, and who all have not opened it, how many of them have responded, at what time they responded, what is the best time to send them an email? If my email is a 400-word email, if my email is 100-word email, which has better chances to be opened by a candidate? Are you using any automation or any software to track this? Hello?
No.
Don't you think this information is very important to you? Because you are sending emails to candidate all the time by Naukri, and you don't even know at what time candidates will open the email.
Yes, sir.
Like if you actually talk to these young folks, especially at the age of 18, 19, those who are like a YouTube video, makers and TikTok video guys, if you speak to them, they will come and they will want to tell you that I upload my video at this time because that is the time when I get the maximum like. And they all know it by experience, no analytics. Okay, so
right, trial and error.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm saying trial and error. Even we have done while making mails on Naukri. So that way, yes, so senior folks, they generally respond over the weekend. So Saturdays, if we go, but that is only one, two cases which I can say. But yes, such kind of a formal analytics.
Exactly. And look, this information is already available. It's not that this information is not available. And you can use platforms like Zapier or Microsoft Flows to track this information. Like if you are using Office 365 in your company, you have an access to Microsoft Flows also. It connects to more than 45 applications, including your Outlook. It means it can manage your all footprints on GitHub, Stack Overflow, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. It means it will connect your email to all the platforms. And a lot it can do, again, this would require a full 2-day training, but certainly you can go ahead and explore it. But idea is to use even Zapier is a very, very, if your company allows your email to connect with Zapier, nothing like that, because this is also a very, very effective tool. Guys, I'm just using only one important thing that you do every day is email. And think about it, you have so many things across, you use so many platforms, and each platform has too many things to do in terms of analytics. There are too many data around it, and that data already exists, but we just don't access it, we don't utilize it, and based on that we don't take decision. Guys, let me tell you, talent analytic for recruiter, for talent acquisition, guys, it's not only about making a dashboard, like creating a very nice dashboard for your, quarterly or monthly or, annual dashboards to your management team. This is much more. This is about taking everyday decision, guys. This is about, whatever you are doing. So, there is a method, for that. So I call it a theory, but certainly it's important sometimes to understand this method also, to understand where we are. Okay, so whenever we are creating that dashboard, whenever we are collating data, all Excel sheets, capturing data at various touch point with the candidate, and later all this data typically help us understand what is happening and why it is happening. Okay, and sometime if you work a little hard, you can always figure out what will happen next also very easily, because based on this data it will gonna give you this. But whenever you want to explore how can we make it happen, or maybe you will go down and you want to look at some areas where of the data right from the beginning till the end, to optimize the entire scenario for you, like how the best you can do right from beginning till the end. And that is why I have divided these slides further into the details, like into the business intelligence. Like how would you want to drill down further to data? Because maybe you got the data at statistical level and doing the forecasting, you are predicting something, it's fine. This is the part of the job, part of the data, that the way it get transformed into information and insight is something that we all know it. We all learned this in some of the program or anything where we have done. My idea is how you will going to transform it into action. So I will not going to spend too much time on these slides. However, I will like to go very quickly. We have very less time. We are already, what time it is now? We are already 5:40. So I will quickly take you to some action mode and would like to give you understanding of few of the things that we can do. So let's look at job description, for example. Okay, and I have just mentioned few of the things that we can do based on data that we already have, but we just need to access that data. So let's come to the job title, for example. Okay, so what do you think? How will you want to decide a job title for a role? Okay, hello.
Hello.
It is already given to you. You are saying so? I've been told that this is a vice president operation. That's it, isn't it? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But do you think that as a marketer, as somebody who's a recruiter who will go to the market and find people, don't you think there must be some science behind it? Why are we? Because it's more about what people are searching in the market rather than what you want to keep the job title. You can have a job title, internally, you can define it the way you want. But when I'm going in the market and when I'm saying that this is a job title, it should be understandable, or it should be something that people are already searching. For example, if you, let's say, I've seen few of the software companies, they are keeping the designation as, ninja developer. Okay, so they want the developer to be like a fighter. But do you think that any candidate is searching ninja developer jobs? Are they?
No.
So let's go, let's look at the science behind it, and these are very simple things. I'm not here to tell you something that is rocket science, so don't worry that, don't think that this is getting too technical, or this is something that is not related to me. We don't need to get into this. This is not going to help us in our promotion. Why to do it? Yeah. Okay, so let's look at Google Trends. It's a very simple, it's a website available to all. If you go to Google Trends, it will give you quick insight of the kind of word people are searching. across the world. Okay, so it means if you're hiring for US, if you're hiring for Europe, if you're hiring for India, you can search accordingly. So let me just go to a very simple thing, So most of you have a designation as a recruiter or talent acquisition. Anyone here who is having designation as a hiring, staffing consultant?
No, sir.
Anyone here who has a designation as a recruiter?
Yes.
Anyone else? Designation as a recruiter? Okay. Anyone who is having a designation as a recruitment manager kind of thing? Anyone here with a designation of talent acquisition consultant, talent acquisition manager, or something like that? Or head of talent acquisition?
Yes.
Too many of you. Oh, I love it. Okay, so let's look at that way. So talent acquisition. We all love this word, So whenever we have a requirement of talent acquisition manager, we will write it like that. So I just use talent acquisition. Let me change the country to India. Okay, so I can see the trend of talent acquisition, and let me just compare it to talent acquisition manager. Okay, and let me compare this to recruitment manager. Pure science, guys. So nothing based on guts. Look at that, see the way people are searching jobs or searching things across Google. And where the job posting, everything is going. It's going on somewhere on Google, right? At the end of the day. And look at this, the difference. If you're writing talent acquisition manager, the traction on the job posting would be nothing compared to recruitment manager. So did you find it interesting? Simple Google Trends. You can access it.
Eye-opening.
Eye-opener? Perfect. Let's look at something
more.
For example, we all hire Java programmers, right? Okay. And we hire Java programmers, and we also hire Java engineers. Even today I saw a few positions as application developer. Java. And now let's look at Java developer. Okay. Look at this, guys. How many of you are using programmers, engineers, and application developer? There's no comparison. The good thing in your job posting, you will ever write these three as a title. You can write it somewhere as a compliance, because you have to be compliance oriented. But I think when you are writing a job post, Java developer as a title is must, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And you can clearly see the difference. The difference is huge. And you will see these difference in all kind of jobs. It's not just in IT, but in sales. So let's go to sales also, right? So maybe I'll just remove this. Okay, so let's write sales, for example. I'm writing sales manager. I'm writing relationship manager. And I'm writing, for example, one more stuff, which is let's say a relationship business development manager, right? Those who are who are in non-IT space, please correct me if I'm wrong. Business development manager, okay? So you can avoid the green line here, but if you look at that, blue sales manager is right on the top.
Yes.
Right, and the red relationship manager is next, and business development manager is right on the last. So that is all job title. And whenever you are writing a job description and you are defining a job title, now you know where will you gonna go. You're gonna go to Google Trends. Simple, isn't it? Okay. So any questions here?
No, sir.
Perfect. Let's look at the next thing, keywords. How will you decide keyword for a job? How do you decide that?
Google AdWords.
Okay, so we go to Google AdWords. Perfect, perfect. What else? Is there any other way?
Keywords Planner.
Okay, we look at keywords panel. Like, how would like to elaborate a little?
Yeah. In the sense that Keywords Planner, you have to just go to Google AdWords and then type in the search under ad. And then they have some keywords displayed under that, or you can use Google search.
I hope ये जो आप इनको placement consultant को ये placement officers को rather you're telling them about hiring.
Sorry.
नहीं इसमें ज़्यादा मत घुसो, ठीक है? Because
Hello.
आप mail में see in the
I
mail
think
also
they're not muted. Another phone.
Right, right. So
नहीं, so
I am not able
नहीं,
to.
so don't put this anything in mail, ठीक है? Further to our discussion, आप वो decision आप क्या how are you talking to them बताओ?
Okay, just a minute, guys. I'll just stop sharing. Ritesh, can you help me and find out who is into conversation right now?
Sure, I can mute them. Just a minute.
Mute. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, Ritesh. Yeah, so I can see few. I hope. Let me just, because Microsoft Teams has said whenever I'm sharing my window, I'm not able to see this admin window here. So perfect. So Sangeeta, I see that I don't think so. Anyone is having any questions so far what we have done? Then I'll gonna move ahead.
We were talking about the keywords planner, and you were talking about how to get keywords. So you asked me. So what I do is I normally use keywords planner, where I go to Google Ads, and then when placing an ad, you can check the relevant keywords. As well as you can do a Google search and check all the under the drop-down box. You can check all the specific keywords that come under that, and even Google Suggest also is there for keywords.
Right. So normally, why? If you look at the keywords, why do we have keywords? If I would like to ask you that, like, why do we need keywords in any job description?
These are the search terms that normally pop up on Google.
Perfect. You're right. Absolutely bang on. These are the search terms. And all the platform which is related to job search or job database. It could be Naukri, it could be LinkedIn, it could be normal data. Like whenever we are using X-ray search on any of the platform, all of them typically works on keywords. And one of the most important thing is, if you look at the current most of the applicant tracking system today, even some AI, artificial intelligence tools, a lot of companies have implemented these screening tools. They all work on keywords. Okay, and this is like what we eat is what we are, isn't it? So what happens is keyword is a kind of feeding data to all these tools. So whenever I'm searching on Naukri, and if I'm not searching it with the right keywords, do you think you will gonna get the right results? No.
No.
Right? Yeah.
No.
If you are using X-ray search or Boolean search, or you are trying to find people on social media, GitHub, Stack Overflow, or you are using HighRitual, do you think if you would not have right keywords, would you be able to find right people? No. Right? So what is most important thing here whenever we are trying to find out keywords is, one, you should know, I don't want to get into basics. Like whenever you are doing keywords, you should know must have, you should know good to have keywords, and you should have keywords, those are not. It means whenever I'm trying to find out developers, my not keywords are like QA, QC, and those, right? So the idea is simple, is to get the relevant people. But how it typically works is because it is also a kind of feeding mechanism to the job portal and to your AI tools, because most of the tools are machine learning tools. If you feed them wrong, if you give them wrong keywords in the JD, they will not gonna get you the right candidates through the screening mechanism. I don't know if your organization is doing it today. If not today, they will do it tomorrow. Even if you are trying to find on Naukri, it is also kind of nowadays getting into a machine learning platform. Indeed is a pure machine learning platform, right? Most of the ATS are machine learning platform. It means they will learn from your JD. A wrong JD, I remember, I was doing a project with one of the organization around 7 months back, and they were facing a lot of issues in terms of selection ratio by their AI tools. And one of the major issue with them was nothing but the JD which they have fed to the system was completely haywire. And you won't believe that all we did for 1.5 months, we have written the JDs as a scale on. We have written more than 112 JDs to them. We feed it to the system, and you won't believe they started getting very relevant, candidate selection rate just because the JDs are right. And it was like if they get any candidate, this is what the feedback I received from recruiter. Any candidate who got 70% of the CV matching to the JD, and the chances of selection increased by 50%. And this is what we have been able to figure out in the next 3 months of follow-up. So keywords are important, guys. Just don't do it by that. Please look at the platform that you are using. It could be your ATS. It could be your Indeed platform in Naukri. Just look at how keywords are working in that. If the keywords are not working fine, go back to your hiring manager. Ask him better keywords. Ask him, what do you think? What are the key things that you are looking at in the CV? And how would you like to define it? Don't define it by the way it is defined in your organization. Look at the way it is being defined in the market. Okay, so let's quickly look at some more. I'll just share my screen again, so you won't be able to, I think, see me then. Can you see me when I'm sharing my screen? Not really, right? Hello, are you with me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, you can see me?
Yes.
Yeah?
No.
No, okay, so fine.
No, your screen.
Only on my screen, fine. So look, there are too many things, guys. We already spent around 1 hour on this, and maybe I would not like to take everything. One thing is market intelligence. It means the way I'm targeting the, so let's say if we are talking about, doing job posting, so it can't be done unless I know my market very well. Who is my target audience? Maybe I'll just take example of biased language again. So whenever I'm writing a JD also, I also have to look at whether my JD is inclusive. I hope it is not being is offensive to the female. It's not offensive to the other diversity talent. So how can I write a non-biased JD? So I think there are so many tools around it. One of the tools which is very commonly people are using is Text.io, right? Anyone here who has used Text.io? No one?
No, sir.
Hello? Okay, no worries. So if you have not used, there are other tools also. I will give you access to just one quick tool here. So which is a very, just a minute, let me hide it. Let me go to the browser. So if you want to see, for example, a bias. So all you have to write is just write bias free. Okay, JD. Let's say I'm sure you will get one tool which is known as CatMat Field. Anyone who has used this tool? Okay, just let me write it here. Okay, bias free JD. So I hope I'll get this tool. This is a free tool available to us. I'm not able to find it. Just a minute. So job description. It's free. Okay, so I'm getting gender decoder, CatMat Field. So look, this is so simple. Like I will just go to find out any JD. So let's say I'm looking for a vice president sales, okay, for FMCG jobs. Okay, so I got few jobs here. I got one JD here. Guys, please forgive the company if you find the JD very shabby. This is the case with 80% of the organization now. So look, so I don't want to get it. So look at the JD. Look at the VP JD here. Okay, maybe you will say it's from the consultant, right? but let's go to a company JD. Let's say from Michael Page, I expect a better JD. Okay. Okay, it's still a better JD. I'll just pick it up. Okay. So I've just picked up this JD. I've copied it and I pasted it here. And this is a gender decoder. So it will give me at least JD. Those are masculine of towards or more, feminine. So it clearly tells me that it's a masculine coded JD. It means this JD will attract more males compared to females. Very simple. When you are talking to a female and you will say that this job would require you to work 18 hours a day. Why would look by nature, but they would not like to come, and maybe with nowadays most of the guys even don't want to do that job. But certainly, with most of the girls, because they have other responsibilities also, they would not like to take up this kind of role, no matter how attractive it is. So if you really are looking to, get the best talent available, you have to ensure that your JD should have gone through with these kind of tools. Like, for example, feminine coded works like responsible, understanding. But whenever you're using these words, maybe a female would not like to apply to this job. Also, I want to tell you that if you are in bias JDs, whenever we are writing bias JDs, most of the female, they want to, this is already being studied, that if there are 14 parameters required as a must-have in the job, and they do not fulfill even 12, if they fulfill 12 and do not fulfill 2, they will not gonna apply to the job. But in case of males, if they fulfill even a 6 parameters, they will gonna apply to the job. So this is a clear psychological difference when they're applying to a job. That means whenever you are writing must-have, because most of the hiring managers are very gung-ho about writing must-have. They want all kind of skills in the JD, isn't it? They want a Superman, right? Yeah, isn't it, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right. So they want to write everything, but they don't understand if you write everything, you will leave half of the talent out of the job application process, just because you are not going through with the right analytics. And this is a pure analytics, guys. This is not the perception. This is pure number. This is pure data that is in front of us. Friends, I'll keep going, for the next, 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, because this is all, like you can see, target audience, diversity, job posting platforms. Again, this too much of, and this is all data which is available with us. You can just go somewhere and you can find out that data and you can apply that data and take the right decision. Then do you have to make a text JD, picture JD, or video JD? Okay, so video JD is again, is a new thing. But look at this. We are consuming most of the content that we are consuming on social media is video, isn't it? Are you reading anymore on social media?
We read, but mostly I think video consumes most of it.
Exactly. It's more than 80%. You won't believe that. It's more than 80% of the total social media content today. And it will gonna be more. And this has already been predicted in 2017 by marketing organization. But as a HR, we didn't know about it. Okay, even today we are not making enough videos. Still, there are videos, they're still not that interesting videos. So I'm not here to tell you, how you should do that. All I'm telling you that there are enough data available for you to do these kind of things and take right decision. Okay, so, and maybe you can then go to job posting and on, like what source, what campaign, how do you need to decide, design a campaign. And one very, very important thing that I want to tell you, most of the people believe that talent analytics is all about Excel. Friends, it's all about the combination of data, information, and how you are automating it. In today's world, if you're not doing an automation of the process, like email, if you are trying to find out this information on your own, you won't be able to get it. You have to figure out automation platform who can do this for you. Or you need to ask your IT team to do it. And this is fairly easy nowadays. It's not tough. There are easy plugins available, those who can do that. And you can figure out some secured plugins, some secured extension who can do all this automation for you. Okay. So guys, please do not think analytics separately from automation. I very strongly believe that unless you automate, you won't get analytics. You will only get data. and then you will keep using Excel to create very nice looking dashboard. That is the best that we have been doing it from last 10 years. It's all matters, whether you know Excel better than me, or whether I can use Power BI along with the Excel, isn't it? Yeah. And suddenly somebody will come with PictoChart and you will say, oh, wow, your data is better than me. Maybe your insights could be one or two more, but that will not translate into day-to-day result making process. And that is very important when we are talking about analytics. Guys, here I have just mentioned all metrics that we all use on a day-to-day basis. We all use data to do that. I will not get into this. I'm just keeping it for the benefit of you, so that you know what are the hiring metrics as a part of analytics, what we need to track. Okay, whether it's time to hire, time to fill. Okay, I hope sometime people get confused between these two. So what is time to hire and what is time to fill? Can anybody tell me the difference here? Hello? Guys, am I alone here? No, I'm not alone. Yeah, perfect. I can see few noise. Perfect. So guys, time to hire is about a candidate and time to fill is about the position. So time to hire means a candidate who has applied and when I hired him. Time to fill is when the position was open in my system and when I filled it. It means I made an offer or whatever, right? The people define it differently. So some companies define it by offer, some people define it by joining. It all depends. Okay. And then, first year attrition, quality, there are formulas through which, we can reach it. All formulas are controversial because each company use it differently based on their scale requirement and their internal recruitment process. Then diversity hiring, deviation hiring, and deviation hiring, I hope you all understand, you all fight it every day. There are too many deviation and getting approval is a challenge for all recruiters. Then, recruitment funnel effectiveness. This is very important. Like how at each stage, how my funnel is going and whether my ratio is under the defined limits or not. Sourcing channel effectiveness, then productivity ratio of teams, aging is important. Okay, so we can even I can add another 200 parameters to it. That's not important. Important is what your company need. Important is what are the different parameters and what are the analytics that you need to embed it to your system so that you can take a right decision on day-to-day basis as a recruiter. Guys, so this is it from my end for today. I hope I have been able to go with the limit of timings. Yes, it's 6:06, but I would also like to tell you that we had a very short time today. I do I do full day, kind of 2-day, 6 days workshops on various topics. Those are my focus topics and areas. And fortunately, I just collaborated with Digital HR also on this, and we do this. So these are some platforms that I've been exploring on to get a lot of analytics for a recruiter for talent acquisition. And guys, I am doing one workshop, which is, we call it Advanced Recruitment Workshop. Since you all are recruiters, I thought I should come here and should share with you. Okay, and this workshop would be on 19th and 20th of December. It's a 2 days workshop, 4 hours and 4 hours. This is not about talent analytics, but this is about before talent analytics. If you really want to see what we all have done today, it is all based on, do you have enough skills to explore the different platforms and different tools? And in this particular workshop, we are focusing more on social recruiting and how we can explore various tools. And we also learn about how we can do Boolean search and advanced Boolean search and apply it onto various platforms, not just one or two, but various platforms. It's a 2-day workshop. We do that. I really invite you to come and join me in this workshop, and you can connect with Digital HR team for that. I must tell you about the price also today, since you are with me. If you have any question, feel free to ask me. So the actual price of the workshop is 2,500 around, and here we are offering you only for the $1,000 because Digital HR is sponsoring the cost and sharing the cost here. So fortunately, we have been able to give discount because of that. There are a lot of people who have attended this workshop at the same cost, 2,500. And you can just go to Recruiter on LinkedIn pages and you will be able to figure out. Guys, along with that, I also very strongly believe that you should not end your learning only with Advanced Recruitment Workshop. It's very important for you to learn what we did today in talent analytics. Apart from that, recruitment marketing. because today we spoke a lot about recruitment marketing. Okay, like whenever we were talking about Google Trends, so we were talking about buyers' job descriptions. It's all the elements. These are all elements belong to recruitment marketing. How you effectively you can market your, the job position that you have. How effectively you can get more application, better application, relevant applications. Apart from that, I also do a workshop on Google customized search engine. It means creating your own search engine. Then forget about depending on other search engine. Why not to create your own search engine based on your requirement? Okay, and that will gonna help you. Today I'm doing one workshop at 9 p.m. Which is related to Google CSE. If anybody would like to join, you can just go to some social media platform and you would be able to figure out. Maybe on a chat also, I'll give you the link. I'll give you the link of WhatsApp group. That is my personal group. You can join the group, and that is where I will be sharing the link. And so here you are getting a workshop at the cost of only 999, which is total worth is far more than that. And this is applicable only till tomorrow. So please get in touch with digital HR team for the rest of the process. I have another certification workshop which is known as SCTAP. This is only for advanced recruiters, people with at least 5 years of work experience. They can also come and join me, and there is an offer here also along with the Google CSE workshop and international hiring as well, because I assume that these people are a little senior and they should join international hiring as well, because in India hiring is not nowadays, it's just not related to our country. We are hiring all across. I see recruiters, Indian recruiters hiring across the world. So it's high time when everybody should be well equipped with the hiring skills for all international market. So guys, this is it from my end for the day. And so maybe you can just take a screenshot for this so that you have the number. I have Ritesh and Ashish also with me. Hey, would you like to share anything here?
Yeah, hi, Yogesh ji. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just stop sharing it. Right.
So first of all, thank you so much, Yogesh ji, for giving insight to this session. And thank you, every participants, for sparing your time and joining this workshop. And on chat window, I have already shared the link for the program registrations, so you guys can go to that particular link, access this link, and see what are the benefits are there. And it is great that Yogesh ji has given the price benefit to digital HR, and definitely you guys can go and register yourself by accessing that particular link that I have posted on your chat window. And from my team also, you will be getting an email from my team, which will be having this link access. So you will also be there. So guys, get the benefit of this workshop and see how it can be helpful for your real life. Thank you so much for joining these sessions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'm sure anyone have any kind of questions, doubts to clear with Yogesh ji? He's here.
Hi, Yogesh. I have a question.
Oh, just a minute. Yogesh has left. I will just ask him to. I'll just call him to join again. Just a minute. Just a minute, Ritika. I'm just asking him to join again. Yes, Ritika. Yogesh ji is joining in another one minute. I think Ritika has asked the questions, or Dipti. I'm so sorry.
Dipti asked.
Okay, Dipti. Yeah. Dipti, by that time, if you can throw the questions, if I may, address it. Anyways, Yogesh is
No
joining.
problem. No problem. There was this Google AdWords
Just
that.
a minute. Sorry. I think Yogesh is there in the lobby. Yeah. I think now you can. Yes, Yogesh. So this is Dipti, and she has some questions. Yeah, Dipti, carry on.
Hi Yogesh. So basically, yeah, I wanted to know when you talked about in the keywords, Google AdWords. I was just going through that Google AdWords. It's asking me to type a business name and actually register there. Do we have to do that?
So I will not suggest you to go to Google AdWords keywords.
Am I able to hear?
It's my suggestion, right? It was somebody else who was doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Deepti, I would always suggest you to, whenever you are looking at keywords, try to look at the relevance of keywords with respect to the kind of CVs that you are looking at.
Okay.
Right. So let's say if you are trying to find CVs.
So I can just go to.
Yeah. Hello.
For example, for Java developer, you have to just can you hear me?
I can hear you now. No, Deepti, you're not audible to me. Hello. Ritesh?
Okay. For example, we are looking for Java developers. So we just. Hello.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Now I think partially yes.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
So basically, I was talking about Java developer. To Java developer, we might look for one is Spring Boot. We are looking for a Java Spring Boot microservices developer. The keywords would be microservices, Spring Boot, Java, J2EE. So where do we look for the relevance of the keywords? I mean, now in LinkedIn also, I face this issue to give the right words so that my ad that we post, the job postings can be reached out to many people.
So Deepti, what happened that you need to see if they all are must have, right? If they all are must have skills, right? Then you have to use all these skills, right? And then you have to see whether you will get relevant people either on LinkedIn, GitHub, Stack Overflow. It could be anywhere, even on Facebook.
Okay.
And then you have to see what location and what kind of competition that you are targeting, because the skills that you are saying are very, very common. So you have to see that which particular company that you are targeting. If you target them by company or by your direct competition, that would be far better than targeting it in the open market. So what we do typically, Deepti, is when we do advanced workshop, actually we spend almost 3 to 4 hours a day on the first day only on this. So what I'm telling you is don't because it requires some more practice and more understanding. So yeah, so idea is that when we do workshop, first I have to tell you what is Boolean search. Then I have to tell you how you can apply Boolean search on these keywords. Then I have to tell you that how you can arrange keywords into different combination, including location, company name, and everything. Then I have to tell you what kind of designation through which you should search these kind of guys, because no matter, it depends at what level you are looking at. Then based on that, when it will get people, then I have to tell you how would you be able to reach out to them. Let's say you got them on LinkedIn, but you maybe if you are using LinkedIn Recruiter, you will get an access to the numbers of almost 50% of them, those who have mentioned it. But for rest of them, you need to find out their numbers or email, right?
Correct.
So this is how it works. So I would always recommend you, if you are so keen, that you should come and meet me at ARW, where we actually spend a lot of time in doing this. And you do it within a team so that your learning grows up quickly on this.
Okay, sure, I'll do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Deepti. Yeah, Ritesh, is there anything else where I can help? Dipti, I think Ritesh is on mute. So let's. So if there is anything else, you can connect me over LinkedIn or so many other platforms. Feel free to connect with me and ask me the things, right?
Sure, sure. Actually, I was interested in this advanced recruitment workshop.
Right.
So, yeah, when are you planning? I had attended the workshop on September 6th. The workshop.
We already done it. Then
Yeah.
क्या problem है फिर तो अभी तो you should be a pro.
No, I have some doubts. That's the reason. Recap. Yeah.
Attended the workshop, nothing like that. Idea is that you use a combination, and if you think that you still have a problem, just connect with me and just text me. You should be a part of group also, right?
Yeah. I'm part of the group.
Just ask me over there. Don't feel free.
Okay.
Whenever you have a problem, huh?
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Bye. Take care.
Thanks, Dipti. Thank you so much, Yogesh ji. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, Desh. Bye.
Bye.